Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is going on, you guys? Anybody home? I think I see zero viewers. Oh, three viewers. What's up? What's up? What's up? I think my Wi-Fi is super crappy right now. Connection is fairly good. What's going on, you guys? Can you hear me, see me in this live? I literally sparked this up like 2 minutes ago. I was like, you know what? We're gonna do a quick live. Is anybody available here on this Thursday? Peter, good morning, Peter. I'm gonna wait for a few people to get into the chat. Enid, what's going on? Okay, I'm only seeing two viewers. Does that mean it's just you and Peter? Oh, okay, I think my thing's bugging out. I think my Wi-Fi is really bad. But what is going on, you guys? Good morning. Okay, nice. Rita, yes, I do. Actually, just set it up. I did a video on that. Well, okay, cool. Lunch break. What's up, Dominique? Nice. I'm just getting my morning started here, but let me kind of explain the concept of this live stream. I'm glad that you guys are joining me. So I was actually filming a video. Like I got like, 5 minutes into the video, and I'm like, this would be so much more fun on a live stream. So essentially, the concept was I've done these master lists for the past couple of years where I've essentially ranked kind of like the top TSX stocks, which I know you guys, love. And I'm like, let's just try to make it a little more entertaining, a little bit more fun. And I actually set up what's called a tier list. Yes, the Toronto event is sold out, Kelson. We sold out 300 tickets, which is next week. So for those that are coming, and yeah, I don't really know what to say about that, Kelson. I'm sorry. Maybe send me a message and see, but yeah. Anyways, so the video today, and I am on a 1 hour time crunch because I got a call coming up. But let me share my screen. I got to figure out how to do this. Present, share screen. Okay, let me know if you guys can see this. Can you guys still see me? Because I can't see me and I can't see the chat, so that's not actually that fun at all. I really want to be able to see the chat. Maybe I can do this and put this aside. Okay, okay, I'm getting somewhere. Did I type in masker list? I did type in masker list. What a fail. Should I go fix that? Whatever. We'll just leave it as that. Um, but hopefully you guys can see the screen here. So this is like what's called a tier list, and I've seen people do this for like other fun things, like ranking video games or ranking characters. I haven't seen anybody do it on stocks, and I thought, you know what, let's do the best of both worlds, because essentially the concept is of these favorite Canadian stocks. I mean, you guys are going to recognize a bunch of these. We talk about them all the time. You guys can see my screen properly, right? Can you guys let me know? Because it looks all weird on my screen. But as long as you guys can see me, that's fine. Um, and you can see obviously this list. But the concept is we're gonna go through and rank these based on their tiers, and S being the best tier. I don't know exactly what S stands for. I think it's like special tier or something. S tier is like the cream of the crop, okay? So we're not going to have too many stocks in the S tier. The video box is blocking the list. Oh, I see, I see, I see. Let me see if I can make this a little bit smaller. Let me see if I can fix this before we get too deep into this. Edit. How's this? Is that better? Update layout. Move the list to the left. What if I went like, is that better? I made it a little bit smaller. What's going on, you guys? Waterloo, Ontario. I fly out to Ontario tomorrow, so we're coming to Toronto tomorrow. No change? There was no change in the box? Oh, it is better. Okay. Well, hopefully that's better. And yeah, if you guys got 30 minutes, you can essentially play this game with me. It'll be kind of interactive, and as a team, we can decide where certain stocks fall. But move it to the top right. Okay, let me try that. Let's see. That's actually probably a good idea. How's that, Rob? Better? That way you can kind of see everything, right? And if I actually move this, no, so I'm not catching the Jays game tomorrow. This is one thing I hear. It's the Angels that are in town, right? So is Otani pitching one of these? That's something I'd love to go see, but I heard tickets are pretty pricey, and we don't fly out. We fly out tomorrow on a red eye, which is the logo's in the way. Okay, let me take the logo off. Oh my God, a little housekeeping issues here before we even get into this game. But thank you for joining me, by the way. Drop a thumbs up on the stream. Let me get rid of that little logo. Cool. Okay, let's get into it. But no, I'd love to catch the Jays game while I'm there. We're gonna go to Niagara Falls, which is something I've never done before. That will be extremely fun. Oh, he's pitching tonight. Oh, okay, gotcha. If he doesn't, he'll pitch tomorrow. Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna try to watch the game, just because I want to watch that on TV. But no, we don't fly out till tomorrow. So, anyways, concept of this game. Can access the light speed factor. I thought about Rita adding in some of those smaller stocks, but I had such a. I mean, it actually took me a surprising amount of time to get these all in here, and as you'll see, there are duplicates and whatnot, and it kind of capped me out at like 35. Okay, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's go. Okay, sorry. Let's go. We're ranking these, S tier being the best, A, B, C. You guys get the deal. Let's start with Air Canada. It's the first on our list. You guys are gonna hate me for this, but Air Canada for me is not quite not quite up there on my list. I think, hey, Howard, you can check out for the Academy. You can give a call. You actually speak with Darwin or James, one of our sales reps, and they'll be happy to explain to you how that works. But essentially, we charge like a one-time fee, and you're in for lifetime access. Ranges around $2,000. Just FYI, if that's in the ballpark. But you can speak with them, and they're happy to talk to you. Okay, so I'm liking this. At least I'm not on my own to think that it's a C or a D tier, right? I've talked about this on the channel so many times. It's just an ugly business model. There's too much competition. I know people love Air Canada because it's a big Canadian. Oh my God, Bailey scared me. Oh, sorry, I got my dog with me today, but yeah, C sounds about right. Yeah, it's one of those stocks that people like pick because it's like a low favorite. It's just a small mid cap stock, as large as it is, and yeah, there's no way it goes anywhere higher than C in my opinion. I would almost argue it's a D, but let's just be generous and give it a C. What are we ranking these stocks on? Good question, Mohammed. I'm just kind of ranking these stocks on just my general outlook on the stock, like not necessarily share price or company. I'm just factoring everything in and like where does it sit. But I'm glad to hear you guys agree with me on C. TD. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up in the A tier. I'd actually go ahead and put both, TD and Royal Bank up in A tiers. I know people may disagree with everything going on, but I don't really overlook. I don't really I don't even think I can pull up another tab. That stuff doesn't worry me. These banks have been around for eons, and they've gone through all sorts of troubles and times, struggle periods. To me, I think these are two stocks. They yield, I think, close to 5% right now, 4%, 4.5% a piece. Stocks you can buy and hold forever. They're not quite S class, but to me they are A. And I'm glad. Okay, good. I'm glad. Let me know down in the comments that I'm not off base here because I'm seeing a lot of agreement across the board, and that's why this is so. It was kind of lame when I was doing this myself. I was just like ranking them and whatnot, but this is just so much better. Love and TD. It's my only bank stock. Okay, Cineplex D, easy D in my opinion. Too much debt. Yucky yucky company. Shopify. Okay, this one is going to be interesting because I do really like Shopify, and I was actually looking at it prior to this. I mean, they've actually gone on quite a run off lows. They're up about 80%. You know, for me, Shopify is in the B tier, and I get it that they're one of our favorite. No F, no Emmanuel, no F. Like F is kind of like F is D is kind of like F, right? D is our worst, I guess you could say. Cineplex was very easy to categorize. So let me explain why I sit Shopify as a D. I mean, as a B, excuse me, and not quite an A. Obviously, they're a tremendous tech company here, and we have very slim pickings in the tech space. One of the gems, actually, a third largest company in Canada based on market cap, despite the drop. So clearly a massive company. I do like what they do. They've really commanded the entire e-commerce space here, and they seem to be expanding their business in many ways. The reason why I don't give this an A is because I think if you want tech exposure, there is better tech elsewhere. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are keeping up with the earnings reports over in the States. Like, I mean, Meta just crushed it yesterday. Not saying Meta's, far superior, but you have the Googles, the FANG stocks over in the States. There's so much more innovation and growth there that to settle for a Canadian tech stock is just for me personally not quite it. I do think they're a stellar company and I think they're trading at a more attractive price than they were a few years ago. But for me, I think B is a good one. Well, George, so A plus to clarify, S tier is the A plus. S tier stands for like super or like special or something. So yeah, um, okay, so dividend investor, I really value your opinion, and Shopify is a C here. You're thinking about valuation too much. I like that. I mean, you do have to factor that in, and that's exactly it. If Shopify was trading at a dirt cheap price, they're clearly growing. I mean, the company is growing and expanding, but they've always been ahead of themselves so much. And I think because there's such a limited selection of Canadian, growth, like not growth stocks, but tech stocks, that people just buy into this and just pump their money here, which has always made it a less attractive buy for me. But overall, business wise, I'm comfortable with the B tier. Um, I think it'd be unfair to call it a C tier because they are doing very, very well as a business. So that's kind of where I'm going to sit that as. Interesting thoughts there in the chat, you guys. Drop a thumbs up, by the way, if you guys find this fun. If you like the masker list of 2023. BlackBerry. For me, BlackBerry is definitely in the C or D tier. It's just too small of a company. They've essentially gone nowhere. I mean, they've gone somewhere over the past decade. They've gone the wrong way. And I guess if you're really bullish on cybersecurity and the positions they're taking there could be a play here. But for me, I don't speculate on these small companies. Possibly better a stock than Air Canada. Like it almost makes me wonder if Air Canada should be under the D. Let's be generous and just we'll put at the C tier, and C to me D tier. Are we thinking D tier for BlackBerry? Algonquin D tier. Okay, let's go down the list, but let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Let's give BlackBerry a D tier. And if you guys think I should be changing these, let me know. But I'm kind of liking how it's looking right now. CNR to me is an A tier, no question. I'd almost want to put it up at an S tier, but just because they have such a, you know what? Is this going to be our first S tier? I put this in the same quality category as the banks. I do actually think they're, performance wise better because A, they have a not as nice of a dividend, but they've been compounding the dividend. They've been growing. If you look at their, just compound return over the past 5 years is very impressive, and it just chugs along, no pun intended. But I think just due to the moat that they have, there is something unique about the two railways we have in Canada. But I think for me is A tier is right. Oh, okay, so I'm seeing some S tiers. You know what? I might get swayed about this. Is this our first S tier? I mean, let's think about that because there's something so unique about the railroads. It's a moat that just can't be touched. Um, and even CPKS now. You know what? We're locking in our first S tier. I'm getting swayed by the. Okay, now I'm getting swayed back from the dividend investor. I really value the dividend investor's opinion, by the way, you guys. And not that I don't value any else, but I do see a lot of S tiers, giant moats, and that's the thing, right? That's the one thing that I'm like thinking does put it a notch ahead of the banks. Let's put this under A tier for now. And hey, don't get mad at me. I may move that up. Enbridge, for me, Enbridge is actually a B or C tier. I know people love Enbridge. It's really crazy on Blossom. Enbridge is like one of the top stocks, but let's go with B tier. They pay a tremendous dividend, I think today at 7.44%. But if you actually look, I mean, Enbridge, if you purchase it at the wrong time, I think since 2015, they've essentially just been trending actually down. So down and sideways. And that's one thing you get a lot with, the material stocks, the energy stocks, these very cyclical sectors. You can go through multi-year periods, like even sometimes like decade-long periods where things don't move in your direction. Enbridge D tier. I'm here to okay, a lot of hate for Enbridge. Why is that? C for Enbridge. You know what? So this is the thing, Haas. I was literally gonna put Enbridge down here, but I don't think that deserves the same category as Air Canada because again, I think Enbridge is a more superior company than Air Canada personally. Um, so I'm kind of leaning on Enbridge, and because of this, right? For a dividend investor, someone who wants that income. I mean, they pay a tremendous yield. They're one of our staples in the energy industry. Um, I think B is suitable. Yeah, we get an agreement across that. Too much debt. B. Yeah, we're gonna get to these, Kevin. We're gonna get to these. We're gonna get to some of these. They're on the list. Well, Nutrien is at least. Power Corp. I'd put Power Corp in the B tier as well. Widely known for Simple, but they do a lot of other stuff. They have insurance. Essentially a big holding company. And you know what's funny? I actually think I was one of the first ones on YouTube to talk about, excuse me, Power Corp a number of years back. Little, I'm kind of proud of that, and I think a lot of people really liked the stock, and Obviously, with so many Wealthsimple users, they love it. Power Corp's a B for me. They do pay a great dividend, but they're not quite in that tier of A quite yet. Ooh, the TMX Group. Who's familiar with the TMX Group? Yeah, Great West Life. That's right. GWO. So I didn't put that on here, but they do own stake in Great West Life. C North. Who's familiar with the TMX Group? Because this is a stock that I've been eyeing more and more. It's on my watch list, and if you guys pull up the share price just on your computer, you'll be wildly impressed. I believe they were the TSX Group before, and TMX is kind of like the new thing they're branding under. I could be wrong on that, but essentially, I mean, this is our big financial. What do you call it? An evil empire. Ooh, evil empire. We all use the TMX, right? Like we all use the TSX. They pay about a 2% dividend last I checked, and I think they're trading at a fair PE even after the run. Um, I think about in that 20% range, 20 times range. So to me, TSX, like I said, I may be prematurely ranking this because I don't. It's not a stock I know ins and outs of, but at first glance, I think it's actually it's been surprising me to the upside. So BRC, I'm actually going to keep this one as an A. But here's a question: should an overshot simply own the S and T tiers? Okay, this is a really yeah. Go check TMX and tell me what you think. This is a really good question. You know what? Let's talk about this, Ace. Should an investor simply own the A and S tier stocks, right? Like we're doing this for a reason. We're trying to pick, weed out the cream of the crop, the good versus the bad. Should we just own the S tier stocks? I think there's an argument to that. Why would you not try to hold the best of the best, right? Um, but in my opinion, I guess we'll have to see where all the dust settles. I think a portfolio should have obviously your goal kind of core stocks being these A and S tiers, but that doesn't limit you from holding some of these smaller plays. Like as we just touched on earlier, like Shopify, it's a B tier stock, but for some people, it's perfect stock for what they need. Enbridge and Power Corp, yeah, maybe they're not the best quality as a TD or CNR, but they still fit roles in a portfolio. I think a good way to answer that question, Ace, is that the core or our main holdings we would want as our top class holdings, but there still is room for other stocks. I mean, obviously, we try to avoid ones that we classify as D, and this is a good one too. So, yeah, great point, Gus. Sometimes people are wrong, right? Like, depends on the investor's criteria, as Kelson says, and sometimes people are wrong. You know, just because these are our big A class stocks doesn't mean that they're going to outperform. Nothing like that. This is just yeah, really good conversation there. But yeah, really good question. Equitable Bank. This is one that I actually really like right now, and I think it's unfair to put it up in the S tier quite yet. But I do think that, and it also feels wrong to put them in the A tier with the big banks. But they are growing the dividend really well, and they're obviously super innovative. And I think they're making waves here in the Canadian market. I very much like the dividend, and I think it's a very fair consideration. But I wonder, I'm leaning between B and A. What do you guys think for this one for Equitable Group? Um, B, yeah, Robin. Yeah, this is one that, yeah, was kind of like I wish you got into last year. You would have B as well. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I said, it's certainly not an A now that I kind of verbalize that. And they are not quite they have attractive traits to them, but still, as a smaller and more innovative company in the Canadian market, I mean, they're obviously much more smaller cap than the banks. There is that level of uncertainty. We can't quite put this up with the CNRs of the world, but I think it's B. I'd say it's a B plus actually. But Emmanuel, nice B. Not as familiar with EQ Bank. You should look into that, Haas, because I actually really like it. I think it's a good. Okay, let's cut to the chase, do Bubba. Okay, maybe we'll do an American version after, but we're sticking to Canadian stocks here. Hopefully, I don't know. I think Baba's gone on a nice little run the past week, at least I've been seeing. But okay, next one, Brookfield. Here we go. I'm making a call here. That's my first S tier stock personally. I love this stock. I do kind of see it as like a CNR level hold, and we did consider CNR being in that S tier. B plus plus? What B plus plus for Brookfield? Can you elaborate on that, Jelani? S tier from Haas, S tier from Emmanuel. Okay, I think we're on the same page. Obviously, they did a spinoff. And there's two stock. I think both are worth holding, in my opinion. I own both. You know, BN.TO, which is the corporation, Brookfield Corporation, and then the Brookfield Asset Manager, which is BAM stock. Top of the line for me. Let's go. Okay, I'm glad. So yeah, the tickers, as you can see in the chat there, Kevin, the tickers are BAM and then BN.TO. I think they're both worth holding. Aritzia, I forgot to put Aritzia on this list. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Where would we fit Aritzia on here just for fun? I don't think I can go back and change the list now. It just took too long to set up. Aritzia for me would actually be, for me, you guys don't have to agree, but it's at highest B tier, possibly even C tier. I mean, it feels wrong putting that with Air Canada, but that's my opinion. Canadian Utilities, I'm going to go with, I'll go B tier. I'm thinking B or C. There's just no growth in this stock, but obviously just a tremendous dividend track record. And for the right type of investor, like if you want that income, well, then it's freaking amazing stock for you, right? That said, if you're trying to grow, this stock doesn't grow, right? It just trades range bound and doesn't really go at all. So hard to classify. But is it a C tier here? Is this a C tier? I think it is. I think C. Um, but then I almost want to move Air Canada down to D. I think that looks better. What do you guys think about that? I'm liking this because these are just stocks that are not for me. And then C is like still kind of good. You got a C in math. You're like, it's not terrible. It's not great. Canadian Utilities will sit at a C. Couche-Tard for me is a S tier. What do you guys think? Consensus? ATD has done really well. Yeah, ATD has done really well for me, and I got this stock from you guys. Like that's the fun part about this. I got this for you guys. S tier by far. I think I agree. S plus, let's go. This stock has just been crushing it for us. Hey, let's freaking go. Growing dividends, moving in the right direction. It looks like a fun name to say. I like the little owl logo. These obviously, for those not familiar, they own all the Circle K's. The dividends suck. You know, this is one thing, Rob, that I would say. So the dividend does suck right now, but they're growing it really aggressively, right? Um, they're growing it quite aggressively, and over the next number of years, I mean, let's see where that dividend is. But for me, it's S tier. Dividend investor says it's an A for him. Gas margin will probably decline as a short-term headwind. Yeah, that's something I'll live with. I'm leaving it as a S. Canadian Tire, actually a pretty good retailer here in the Canadian market. It's funny, when I heard about Canadian Tire, I didn't even think that they'd have a stock. For some reason, I'm like, oh, they must be a private company, you know, a number of years back. And they've been performing well ever since. So for a retailer, I think they're pretty solid, but I'm leaning B or C here for Canadian Tire. What do you guys think? Grab some water. What are we leaning on for Canadian Tire, you guys? This is kind of my thoughts too, actually. B? Yeah. Yeah, I think B is fair, actually. B, lock it in. Ugh, Algonquin. Where's Algonquin? Are we thinking D or C? So I actually own Algonquin, and Mark and I did buy Algonquin a little bit too early because we kind of felt the hit of that big drop and the dividend slash. Has actually been picking up though. If you do like put all the junk aside and you kind of like look aside from everything you hear, offloads are actually doing pretty. Yeah, D's. We're thinking D's. Algonquin off the list. Okay. Like I said, when you look in your portfolio and you have all these stocks and there's just ones you just don't want to like look at, like it's just like, oh, it just like makes you feel bad when you look at them. Algonquin's one of those for me and my dad. And like he said, we did still decide to hold it in, and see that is telling, right? Why we didn't junk it and trash it from the portfolio, to me, is why I am considering it as possibly a C. Because yeah, holding steady, Shia Jet, whatever. Um, I think there's far superior plays in this field. Let's put the stock where it belongs, hey? On the D list. On the D tier. Hey, drop a thumbs up, by the way, if you guys are enjoying. Atco. Yeah, Patrick, I actually had Atco on the list. So this thing I'm using only let me put in 35 companies, 35 little images, and I had to like trim out, a bunch of them. So Echo was one of those. Okay, Algonquin D. Where do you guys put Dollarama? Okay, because this is one where I haven't, shameless to say, like, or shameful to say, I don't follow Dollarama too closely, but I was looking up the stock price, and they've just been steadily trucking along. Small dividend, but actually really nice performance. Sorry, I didn't mean to put it as a C, but I was just kind of putting it as a placeholder because yeah, it's obviously a recession resilient stock. One of those stocks that kind of just, you'd think is not too what's the word I'm looking for? Too I have a bit of a cold, by the way. Are we thinking A? I think we're getting a consensus Dollarama as a A. Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's what I'm saying. So, Jake the Snake, you're right. If you pull up the 10-year chart and just look, you don't hear about Dollarama. At least I don't. But they've been trucking along, kind of like those waste management companies, right? They just go. And it's funny, like companies like Dollarama or Waste Management, or we have another Canadian one. It's just like, it's so hard to buy in. I always struggle to buy in because they're doing so well, but they just continue to do well. So let's lock in A there. Canopy Growth. Canopy Growth. Where's that coming in? You guys know my opinion. This one's Canopy Growth, by the way. You know what's funny? Like, I don't know how long you guys have been following the channel for, but yeah, see it's off the list as well. Me too. Junk, 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 junk. For those that have been following the channel for like, however many years, I forget when it was, when it was the weed stocks were getting when weed stocks were getting popular. And it's funny, it would have been these you I guarantee people would have been putting it in the A list, but I don't think they ever were in the discussion fundamental wise. Share price wise, it looked like they were an A stock, but that's what happens, and then people get burned. Yeah, 2018, right? It's crazy. I was just thinking, like, I've been doing YouTube now for like I think 5.5 years. It's a pretty long time. I think it was 2017 that I started, so 2016, 2017. I should have included the waste companies here. I messed that up. Nutrien. Nutrien for me is a C tier. What do you guys think? Yeah, I see your message, Ati. I missed it. Yeah, Matt, what's going on, Matt? Canadian Tire is on the B. Is that something you disagree with? That's where we figured it should fit B tier. Nutrien, yeah, Nutrien to me is a C tier, kind of across the board. Yeah, yeah, it's up there. It's up there, Matt. Restaurant brands. I don't know why I'm always intrigued by restaurant brands. This is the company that owns Tim Hortons, Popeyes, Burger King. Um, they were underperforming for quite some time, and I actually bought into the stock. I ended up selling it because I ended up selling a lot of my stocks for other purposes, but they're doing well. Yeah, Burger King is crap. I get that, but like, I mean, you got to think like it's definitely not my preferred location for fast food. I mean, I do love a Whopper, Whopper Junior. Actually, I prefer the Whopper Junior personally. Yeah, we thinking C tier. That's where I would put it. But restaurant brands has picked up, is what I was trying to get to. Pull up the stock price. Yeah, B at best. Whopper Wednesday. You guys want to hear a fun story? Let me see. Let's take a little intermission. How do I fix this? When I was speaking of Whopper Wednesday, like when I was back in high school, I was one of the first ones to get my driver's license, right? Like the L license, I mean the N license here in BC, like and new driver, and you're allowed to drive one friend. And we set up this is probably grade 11 or grade 12 whenever you get your N. Um, and me and my buddy set up a little business thing, like we called it the Whopper Wednesday runs. Not business, but it was kind of a little side hustle gig. And for lunch every Wednesday, we'd go to Burger King and we'd make a huge order. Um, this is exactly. And we had a whole Facebook group going. We had teachers. Like I remember the teachers, the word got around so much that the teachers would like call us up. Like I remember one time my Spanish teacher's like, Brendan, and I'm always getting in trouble. So I'm like, oh, fuck. What's happening? What's happening? And he slips me a couple two and he's like putting into order for two Whoppers. And I remember our biggest order was we called in an order about 50 Whoppers. Which I mean, at the time, like 50 Whoppers was quite a big order. And I forget what we were charging. Like in hindsight, the margins were like god awful. I think they probably cost us like we're probably charging like $3 a Whopper, and it cost us like two something or whatever it was. So we're making like no money. But and the funny thing is, like what I always find is hilarious is we wanted to we obviously ordering so many Whoppers, and we had like my crappy old car, and we didn't want them to get cold. And so what me and my friend would do is we'd crank the heat up in the car, like in my crappy old Honda Civic. We'd crank the heat up to the max, roll up the windows, and literally like we'd have Whoppers like sitting on all the seats, and like my friend kind of like securing them down, and we'd just like roast ourselves on the ride home just to try and keep them as warm and like fresh as possible. It's probably disgusting to think about, but yeah, it was really funny. And then one time the principal ended up, I don't know why the principal like got mad at us for that. It's like that's just like a I don't know. So we ended up having to shut down the business. But yeah, that was a good time. Our Whopper Wednesdays, it became pretty known around the school. Yeah, that would have kept them warm for sure. It probably would have burned down the whole thing. Jollibee, I've had Jollibee in the Philippines. It's like way way better. So when I went to the Philippines, I'm half Filipino. For those that don't know, my mom's Filipino. And then I went to the Philippines for the first time right before COVID, and oh, I ate a lot of Jollibee. But the Jollibee here is not as good. Okay, let's get back to this. Yeah, let's say restaurant brands is a C tier. Fortis. I'm gonna put Fortis in at A or B, A or B. I think B. I think they're for a dividend investor. If you're older, if you're like in your 50s, 60s, and you're looking for a nice retirement income stock, well then for you it might be an A. But for me, okay, we're hearing A's. Kelson A, Haas A. Yeah, so I'm thinking A or B. You know what? B plus. Yeah, it's like right in between, right? Do we go a little generous on Fortis? Why is Nutrien a C? Well, I mean, take a look at the stock. And don't get me wrong, these stocks can all have their good runs, and they could be great long term holds, but there's just some stocks that are, I hate to say it, better than others for a variety of reasons. The field they play in, what they're susceptible to, are they in a cyclical industry or they're not? Nutrien is a stock that is, it's I mean, let's just compare Nutrien to Dollarama, for example, and we look at year round, I mean, what they're exposed to. I think Dividend Investor called out, or somebody called out to all of the threats that Nutrient has, and these crop prices going everywhere versus Dollarama. I mean, people are buying things from Dollar Store year round. It's not to say Nutrient's a terrible hold, but we have to categorize them, right? These are, that's the fun of it. Um, but yeah, again, A or B depending on your income requirements. Let's go with A for Fortis. Manulife, geez, again, I call it a similar category. I think it's a B in comparison. I think Manulife comes in under Fortis. So two great stocks for dividend investors, income investors. Could be two great retirement stocks in all honesty. But I do think Fortis is a little bit more superior. Uh, B plus. I give Manulife the B plus for me. There you go. Great swing trade for sure. B. Let's go. Moving on. Ooh, TC Energy. Let's hear what you guys think about this. See, to me, this is another one where it's like Enbridge, depending on who you're talking to. But um, I'm thinking B or C for TC Energy. What about you guys? We're gonna need a little bit of an opinion here. C. What's the consensus? Yeah, they are getting crushed right now. That's for sure. I actually did a YouTube short, and I was just thinking of stocks that have nice yields, and I think they're at 52-week lows. TC Energy was one of them. Um, B, yeah, we're thinking B or C. I'm thinking C plus or B minus personally. Mm, I mean, it should be in the same range as Enbridge, to be honest. B with Enbridge, right? Okay, I see what you're saying here. B with Enbridge. If we're gonna put Enbridge in this category, okay, yeah, Rory, agreed. We're leaving it at a C right now. Suncor's a B, in my opinion. That's a fair one. Okay, this is an interesting one. So National Bank, I actually had a lunch the other day with a guy named Dividend Earner. Are you guys familiar with the Dividend Earner? Actually, a really good blog and newsletter. Canadian guy. Um, Leave a comment below if you know who I'm talking about. The Dividend Earner. You can go look up his website. He was highly convicted that of all the banks, National Bank is actually, by far and wide, a no-brainer, the best choice. And I'm still actually yet to do my real digging into that. I would certainly put it up in the A tier, but I'm wondering if it is higher than that. But yeah, he was very, very, very set that National Bank across all metrics is actually more attractive than the other banks. Dividend investor, you agreed? That's what he's saying, right? Yeah. Okay. Consensus. Yeah, you're right. It's A tier. I agree. I agree with you guys across the board. Scotiabank. Okay, Scotiabank. This one to me is like okay. Again, maybe disagree. I'm gonna put Scotiabank as a B tier. Still, obviously high quality bank, B high B plus. But if we're literally comparing, what are the banks? I love TD and RBC, and then National Bank I put up there. Scotiabank is just a notch below. So for me, that's B feels right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Kevin, right here, right? And it's not just the share performance. Like obviously shares, price is great, but the company's actually operating well, right? So yeah. Ooh, C for you. Can you elaborate on that, Scotiabank? Maybe you had a bad experience with some tellers or something, but I think BNS does sound right. Well, you know what? I don't blame you for missing it, Kevin. So what's funny is like ever since I started working with my dad, we've been monitoring. It's funny enough, you know, National Bank wasn't even considered one of the big banks when I started working with my dad. I think there was like literally five. It was like so small. It was so small, that up and coming that it wasn't even part of the conversation. And I guess with time, I mean, obviously they've made a name for themselves. Now they're one of the big six banks. So how did you miss that? I mean, it's not you're not talked about as much. Definitely a smaller bank of the bunch. I don't blame you for it, but hey, they're growing rapidly, so they're making waves. And yeah, maybe too pessimistic. We're gonna leave Scotiabank as B. I agree. B, not a C. B. And there you go. I like that, Jim or Gim, right? Just there you go. Hold the bank ETF. CP. CP's up in the A tier for me. Again, for many of the reasons we talked about. Still wonder if CN should be up in the S tier because then I do think where CN lies, I think CP should lie. Actually, after the Kansas City deal, like I'm pretty sure their market caps are neck and neck. It's actually identical. I think it was $78 billion that I was just looking at. 77, $78 billion. I think they're neck and neck. Okay, so let's talk about this for 1 second. Let's have a conversation about this because there's a hot take in from C North. And the reality is, when you look at these different sectors and industries, oftentimes it's this smaller kind of laggard that you don't really think about that ends up going on a crazy run. If you're going to look at like, look back over any industry, whether it's telecom, like especially ones that are very similar, like banks or insurance companies, whatever. What happens? I mean, unless there's something fundamentally wrong with the business, but if there's one stock that is out of favor, like sooner or later, people do kind of recognize that, and they recognize, why is this stock so underpriced? Why is the stock underperforming? They're actually performing quite well. And then the sentiment flips and they actually end up being, there's a lot of opportunity for them to run, right? Rather than the leaders, trying to keep up ground or essentially trying to, continue going on. There's a lot of opportunity. And I remember CIBC being a smaller stock. And at one point I was watching them ticker CM, which I don't have on this list. I mean, they vastly outperformed during a short period of time. And that is what happens, right? Dollarama. What's up, Jesse? One of the best stocks in Canada. I don't know if you were here when we talked about that earlier, but yeah, that was actually the consensus that we got within the group today. One of the low key little gems. Is it an S tier? You know what? Like if we're putting Kush Tart in the S tier, that's just like a bias thing. I'm putting that up there because like I really like it, and it's been great. It's been a fun stock on the channel, but yeah, I mean Dollarama and CN and CP, depending how generous we want to be, are they S tiers? Yeah, same thing could be right. I thank you, thank you. Happens in any industry. What did they do? Are you asking what did they do? CP, CP, Canadian Pacific Railway, Canada Pacific Railway, the other major railway in Canada. And Roy, you're right with the new acquisition. I mean, I think their ticker is going to change soon. I don't know if it actually has changed, but it's still coming up as CP for me. But Canadian Pacific Kansas City Limited, yeah, they did expand their railroad network, and their track. CP is an S for you, so that's it. So, and I mean, this is interesting because oh no, not CP. Okay, nice. If we're gonna classify, like, are you suggesting that because of this Mexico deal or because of this Kansas City deal, now they have access to Mexico, that this is a superior railway to CN? To me, I put them, kind of as a pair. Okay, CP is equal to CN, right? That to me, that's the way I see it. I almost saw CP as kind of actually slightly under CN, and this deal actually puts them up on an even playing field, or a fair conversation. All Blossom family is here. I hope so. I hope you guys are on Blossom. If you're not, it's literally a free app. You go to the App Store and you download it for completely free, and you can see all of our stocks and we share, talk about stuff every single day. I'd love for you guys to go check that out. I can't believe I forgot Aritzia on here. Ugh, I'm just like so disappointed in myself. Um, Aritzia for me would be a C, B or C, FYI. Okay, okay. Thanks for sharing, dividend investor. I hear you there. Yeah, we're going to be out in Toronto next week, Toronto and Montreal, for those that are in the area. So we fly out tomorrow evening. Does Blossom work with TD Direct Investing? Not right now, Kelson. So that's I have my TD Direct Investing account, and that's was supposed to be in the pipeline for like months, but it's not. It's not on Blossom's end. Like Blossom uses a different API. Actually, the passive guys, the Snap Trade, and it's on their end whether they support it or not. So they've been saying it's coming, but it hasn't been coming. What would you do with Aritzia right now? I don't own Aritzia, so it's I can't really share too much there. I watch the stock. I find it entertaining. Um, if I owned it, I'd probably hold it. Would I buy it right now for myself? No, it's not a sure enough attractive thing for me to buy. But if you got into the stock early and you've been riding it and you're a big fan of the company, hmm, this is true. It is true. The storefronts, it is. I mean, it's the place to be, I think, for women's fashion and actually men's fashion now too. I have some Reigning Champ. My water bottle actually is Reigning Champ. I don't know if someone got me this for Christmas. This brand here, which was I guess more of a men's retail line. Everything's going well with Aritzia. I get Aritzia packages to my house like all the time. If you live with a younger slash middle age, not even younger, like just any age of women. Um, they're doing something right. That's for sure. Okay, let's get through the rest of this list. TFI. Are you familiar with this company? For me, this is an A. I don't own it. I wish I did, but big logistics company. I almost wondered, is this classified as S tier? Well, health technology. I was gonna put this on here as well, but again, for those that are just tuning in, I could only fit so many stocks on the list. It was like it was glitching out. And I do have to wrap up in 15 minutes, so we do have to kind of blitz through this. And there are some duplicates. Yeah, TFIA, I agree. TFI International, look it up, Emmanuel. Massive, actually, and doing extremely well right now. So under the radar stock. I actually think I found about the stock from Braden Dennis, who runs the Canadian Investor podcast. Yeah, big logistics truck. Yeah, they so basically move a bunch of. What's the best way to categorize that? But yeah, Braden Dennis, the Canadian Investor podcast, one of the really, really, I think high class podcasts in Canada, and I really like those guys. Well, I only know one of them, but I'm going to be meeting Braden next week, actually, in Toronto. Yeah, so that's where there we go. That's where I heard about them as well, and since then it's been on the watch list. It's just a little bit of a gem, and I mean, I would agree. Canadian Natural Resources, I'll put this as a B class. Again, could be a C depending on who you're talking to, but to me, I think B sounds about right for C and Q. Let's blitz through BMO. Is BMO A? BMO's A or B plus for me. I think it's an A minus personally. A minus B plus. Kind of in that Scotiabank tier, but not quite at the TD tier. But I do love BMO. They're great partners on the channel, so we're going to leave them as an A tier. Let's go Rogers, and let's knock off our telecoms, then we're pretty much done. Actually, Constellation Software, let's jump to this one. Not a stock that I own. BMO is a B for you for sure. Okay, so B plus. Yeah, I'm thinking B plus A minus. I wish I had more opinion on Constellation. S tier. Oh, the goat. Okay, I think we're moving BMO down to A in fairness with Scotiabank. And then Constellation, does that sit in the S tier or the A tier? I wish I knew more. I wish I knew more about the stock to properly classify it, but I'm really going to lean on you guys for the ranking of this one. But clearly one of the biggest success stories. BMO is the same as National Bank in your opinion. Interesting. But we talked about tier list brought to you by BMO. S tier for BMO. Yeah, I wish. That'd be nice, but no. I think BMO. We'll sit BMO in as B tier. In fairness, um, Constellation. I'm hearing mixes. So A constellations like Costco, right? They just continue to climb. But also would bump BN and Fortis down one level. Yeah, you know what we were talking about there, Jesse. Again, I don't know if you were here, but like for example, Fortis for me, I agree. For me, as a 28-year-old, Fortis is not an A tier. But for many of our viewers and subscribers who are in their 50s or 60s, this may be the cream of the crop for them, right? Which is why we have that there. If they are someone that's interested in more income. Constellation, is this an S tier stock? Oh, I mean, we need to get some more S tier stocks up here. I mean, no, not really actually, because they're very high quality. Like I almost think TFI, from what I understand of it, could also be in the S tier category, right? And CP and CN, but CSU needs to do a stock split. It's quite expensive to buy. That's the thing, Robin, right? It's just like it always looks so expensive, but I mean, hey, they're obviously performing well. I think we leave it as an A tier to be safe. Can we agree on that? I'm gonna go turn the air conditioning on because I'm getting really hot. One sec. She has not increased their share count in like 20 years. Swati Nutrients on here. It's a C stock. Oh, Toromont would have been a nice one. Yeah. I forgot to add that stock in here as well. Are we going to leave Constellation as an A or maybe a B? I mean, not. I'm thinking B, just possibly due to share price, but let's leave it as an A. That feels right. Okay, here we go. The big Telecom. This would be a good discussion, actually. And I think these are actually our last four. I actually put Loblaws up as an A or B stock for me personally. I think Loblaw is actually a really nice one to hold. They feel like an A for me. But we'll finish off here with the last three, and then we will wrap up Rogers, Bell, and Telus. You know, I actually owned Rogers for the past couple years, and it did absolutely nothing for me. And I made the decision about a week and a half ago to essentially make a horizontal swap. I went from Rogers into Telus to get in on the dip. And across all metrics, it's really interesting because across all metrics, I actually think Rogers looks more attractive. But then I balance that with the overall, quality. I say quality, but it's almost like an intangible view that I have on the companies. And if I were to rank them based on just like company, intangible brand, what do I like better? I go Telus, Bell, Rogers. But then I look at the metrics And actually, I mean, Rogers does look actually the most attractive to me, which is very ironic because I sold out of the most attractive one. So I actually went away from the metrics and leaned heavier on kind of, I guess I don't know if intuition is the right word, but I've always thought Telus is the more superior overall business to Rogers. And then with the huge drop, I just thought, hey, this is something I'm okay jumping into, and I made that switch. So let me get to the chat here. All telecoms for me are in the C tier. Okay, okay. Rogers, Bell, Tel, Ick. All three to chain and ranges. Telus, Rogers, Bell. Rogers B. Ooh, interesting. We're getting a big mix here. We're getting a big mix here. Hmm. People love telecoms for dividends, but I wouldn't own them. Well, the final three stocks here, guys. We need to come up to a conclusion. Ooh, BCE is for the seniors. Yeah. I looked at Lulu. I didn't add it on here, but changed my mind. Yikes! We got a hater in the building on the telecoms, but I think the rest of the world does the same. So I guess we're leaning B and C here. The question is, do they all fall into the same one, or do we have certain ones at a higher tier? For example, Telus as a B, and then the other two as Cs. Or for example, Bell as a B, and the other two as Cs. What are we thinking for there? And I think with that, guys, that does kind of wrap it up. These are just duplicates. That's what I did, actually. No, I haven't looked into Parkland PKI, unfortunately, but maybe I will. I'm liking this. Telus B, Rogers C, Bell and Rogers. B for Telus? No, I've never heard of this Covio. Well, what are we thinking here, guys? Do we like this? All 3D. Fair. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. This was super fun. For those that are, tuning in late, like I said, I was actually filming this video literally to do a standalone video. And I'm sitting here ranking these all by myself. And about 10 minutes in, I'm like, this is freaking lame. And I'm like, this would be so much more fun as a live stream. So I literally spun the live stream up like 2 minutes before 9 o'clock. And this was a blast with all you guys chiming in. Like, this was actually eons better than what I was doing before. So I hope we can come to a consensus that this is a fair list. If you guys are watching this video after 11 or now or whatever, but they're much better than Algonquin. Yeah, I agree. They are better than Algonquin, I think. This was fun. Yeah, I hope you guys had fun. I definitely had fun doing this. And hey, maybe would you guys want to do this again with like different stocks? Like we could do it again with let's say American stocks or rating some other type of company or specifically maybe set like categories like, hey, for growth stocks or for tech stocks. And then we really get into the, we really look into the, excuse me. Yeah, we can get more nuanced with it. That would be really fun, hey? Yeah, I'm okay with this list, personally. I do almost think Fortis does maybe like what Jesse was saying. Maybe Fortis does belong in the V tier. I think so, actually, now that I look at it. Do this and have a set time on Blossom. Yeah, that would be really cool. Maybe we'll do that, and then maybe the whole Blossom community can come in and join. That would be really fun, actually. I think the Blossom community would really enjoy this. Um, Over 35,000 people on there now, which is crazy. You're really welcome, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and this was a blast. If you missed it, yeah, go watch the replay. This will be on replay. Um, Sector breakdowns would be great. Yeah, limited. Awesome, guys. Drop a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. Next week, I will see. I'd love to meet some of you guys in Toronto, and then as well Montreal. My first time in Montreal. I'm gonna have some poutine. I'm really excited to have some poutine. We actually got a really cool venue in Montreal. It's like a golf club kind of thing. Something golf, Montreal Golf or something. Um, it's all vegan, but it will be really, really good. Awesome, you guys. Well, much love. Appreciate it. I hope everyone has a good rest of the Thursday, and then I hope you guys have a good Friday and then the weekend. I went fishing, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw my fish, but it was over on Instagram. We caught a bunch of fish. So we're gonna be at the rec room, Kevin. So we have the rec room, which is massive. It was a massive, massive venue and a very costly one, but it's going to be all worth it. We have some amazing sponsors helping fund the thing, and we should, in theory, break even on the event, even though it was a $25,000 rental for one night for a one night rental. But I guess that's just how popular that place is, and really, we're looking to make it an absolute blast of an evening. So that should be really, really cool. But yeah, we're there next week on the first, and then we're in Montreal on August 3rd. Well Health, I don't know Well Health personally. My doctor's is Well Health, so I'm always interested, but I don't know. Okay, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys. Actually, I'll probably see you guys tomorrow if anyone's coming in for our live stream with Mark before we fly out. Yeah, down by the CN Tower, exactly, like right in that central area. But we are sold out for tickets, Kevin. We literally sold out yesterday, 300 tickets. Okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow on the live stream. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.